Now, with the like vaccination shit, I mean, we had a question that came in. I think it was on yesterday's segment. That's not gonna make any sense for you guys that are watching this segment afterwards. But on yesterday's segment, for those of you that are watching this live, we discussed if there was someone asked if there's like a tide turning because you had like what was going on in the UK and them dropping some of their mandates. And then there was this that someone brought up as well that we're going to cover a little bit of, and what made them do it, I think, is most important. And that's like other businesses saying, okay, we're going to drop this vaccination mandate or whatever it was, whatever nonsense it is that they had. A lot of people need to understand that when you're dealing with mega corporate entities who often go hand in hand with fucking whatever the government says and does, because that ends up impacting their bottom line. A lot of what happened with the mandates per se was not an organic thing. Okay, I do believe that definitely with like before, for example, before even the government got involved, you had businesses making their own version of whatever it is that what it looked like as far as compensating for this spread of this virus. This is before the government like went insane with like mandates, lockdowns, and all that stuff. They were already making their sort of adjustments. But then the government came in, and as with everything, they fuck everything up and they go to the extreme. And often the policy is not even something that's absolutely conducive to anything it is that they're doing. So, or attempting or pretending that it is they're doing. This is why I continue to say, you heard me say this on the Blaze, I don't even like talking about this as if we talk about this as is it okay if the private businesses do it, like have a mandate? And I would say, yeah, they could have a mandate to where you have to hold a handstand in order, as stupid as you might think that it is, you have to be able to hold a handstand for 10 seconds before you're able to shop. It's their private property. They can do whatever the fuck they want to have any requirement of you. Dress code, it can be anything. However, we were being disingenuous if we were having a discussion about vaccine mandates in private businesses, if we were not talking about the government's influence on that. It's not even worth discussing as if that's not the case. We don't even need to discuss the hypothetical. It's not worth it because this whole entire ordeal has been facilitated by the government. You got mandates that businesses started to implement because of the government. Like, it's not worth discussing it in hypothetical because we already know what happened here. It wasn't like these businesses, all of them, just up and said, we're going to know. They were doing, like, for example, what happened with this. You see Biden attempting to use some sort of executive power to make something like this happen. Yeah, businesses tried to get ahead of it and they followed suit. But then you had like Starbucks, who came out with a memo, and they specifically directly addressed the Supreme Court's decision as the reasoning as to why they were even doing this. That tells you everything you need to know. In the memo, the Associated Press, the Seattle-based coffee chain, said an unvaccinated workers, this comes from Blaze, by the way, TV, or media, excuse me. Is Phil did it? No, Chris Pandolfo. Unvaccinated workers will be able to keep their jobs because of the court's decisions. It said, we respect the court's ruling and will comply. It says the CFO, John Culver. This reversal comes a little more than 2 weeks after Starbucks announced a plan to require all employees to be vaccinated by February 9th. The announcement was made on January 3rd, and this required the company's 200 and almost 30,000 U.S. employees to disclose their vaccination status by January 10th. And they're pivoting on that. Employees would have been, and imagine being that guy who worked for Starbucks in any capacity. It doesn't matter at the corporate level or if you're actually the one giving out the goddamn coffee. And you got your ass coerced into getting it because you wanted to keep your job. And then they come out and said, psych, motherfucker, psych. You stupid motherfucker. This is why you got to hold the line, man. But they cited Biden or the Supreme Court's ruling And this is it right here. As it says, obviously Starbucks, Knicks is coming from AP. Knicks' vaccine mandate after the Supreme Court ruling. And again, this was what was specifically cited, that they respect it, so they scrapped it because of that. Now, I'm not telling you, oh, go support fucking Starbucks. I'd say fuck them because they had the bitch in the first place. But that's what this is about, right? The tide is changing a little bit, but it's because of the fact that they were really just doing the bidding of the government in the first fucking place, right? That's all that it was. They were doing it was the state that was kind of controlling that narrative, and this whole, well, it's a private business shit was always disingenuous and dishonest to even discuss, because that was not happening. You cannot just completely ignore the government, definitely all the way up to the federal level, who had the influence on the vaccine mandates, and act like that had absolutely nothing to do with why these private businesses were having these mandates. They were basically effectively acting as the enforcement wing of the state. And you got your ass. It's just funny for those of you that work for Starbucks who went out there and got that fucking jab, and now it turns out you didn't have to get in the first place. All you had to do was have just a little more fortitude to hold the line, and whatnot. And yeah. Now you don't have to have it. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on YouTube.com/YoungRipper59 and Odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, EricDJuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.